All right, welcome in meat geeks and non-meat geeks alike. We've got electric grills we're going to be running through. If you're not a meat geek, go ahead and subscribe. You'll get a lot of these videos that we do all the time. We round up all kinds of products, put them through testing, and see which one you should be spending your money on. So we've got electric grills. We're going to go through 6 grills today. We got the Char-Broil, the George Foreman, the Weber, Techwood, Cuisinart, and the Phillips. And so we're going to run them through a series of tests. We'll be roasting a whole chicken, see how well these perform at a low temperature for a duration of time. We'll be doing steaks. We'll also be doing slices of bread to check how even and consistent the heat is that radiates from the elements. So after a day or possibly 2 days of testing, we'll be back with the results. We'll let you know which ones are winners, where our losers are at, and how well some of these maybe higher end grills perform compared to some of the value picks that we've got with us. So we'll see you soon. All right, we're back. We did it. 2 days of testing. Here we are. Lots of chicken, lots of steak. Wasn't all rainbows and sunshine though. Some of these grills failed to perform at their most basic jobs, and that's searing a steak. That's the main reason why people grab these grills, is because you're looking for something that you can grill out on your patio, your apartment complex, and you want to just do up some burgers, hot dogs, you want to grill a steak. So that's the basic thing that we were looking for. Can these rise to a high temperature quick enough for you to be able to enjoy grilling a steak out without having to wait all day, or do they even get to the temperature that's needed? So some of the worst grills that we saw didn't get above about 360 degrees. Some of the best ones were up in the 600 range. So the main issue that you're going to have with most of these grills is they all work based on a heating element. With heating elements, it's a lot different than when you're working with gas and charcoal. With gas and charcoal, you've got constant fire, you've got temperatures that can range up to 600-700 degrees without even trying. However, in this case, these guys really have to try hard, and the heating element is basically a pattern that runs within the grill, and the heat tends to follow that. So we wanted to see which one of these had more of an even burn that was more consistent across the entire grate. And so some of our best ones, like the Weber, as well as the Char-Broil, had the most even burns in the group. The Char-Broil, again, is that infrared model, so that one's going to radiate heat a little differently than the others. The others are going to rely mostly on that heating element and the grates dispersing the heat. With the Char-Broil, the design is a little bit more designed and more ideal for distributing the heat evenly across that grate. The Weber, however, because of the heating element that it has, as well as the nice cast iron grates, it does a very good job in reaching high temperatures, but also maintaining them. Also, that's also due to the solid lid. So the other issue with these electric grills is they don't have those flavorizer bars that we're used to seeing with gas grills, where the meat juices drop right onto them and turn into delicious smoke, which gives it the grill flavor. So what we found in our testing is that most of these models did not turn over any grill flavor. So that was kind of our biggest knock on all of them. While, like I said, this is something where maybe you're purchasing it because you can't get a gas grill, you can't do a charcoal grill, that's reasonable. However, I think you would be very disappointed if you think that these are going to rival any of those or meet the standard of a traditional gas or charcoal grill. The other issue that we saw was size. You can see here, for example, in the Cuisinart, let me unlock it. So with this one, we went to do the chicken. Guess what? Cuisinart can't do chicken because of the fact that if we try to put a whole bird on here, the lid gets to right about there, and that's about it. However, the Techwood did fit the whole chicken, and the Techwood gets pretty darn hot. So that was pretty impressive. It actually yielded probably within like our top 3 cooked chicken. So good on the Techwood for that one. And when we're looking over here at the George Foreman, this one has a little bit different of a design. It's got a ceramic plate basically instead of your traditional grill grate with the heating element underneath it. This one, basically the heating element and the plate are all kind of the same deal. So pros and cons there. And actually, If you guys want to check the link below to the website, the article will have all the stuff that I leave out here. So let's go ahead and look at the idea behind these. Portable, right? They're supposed to be easy to take around with you, move in different places. However, some of them failed at a proper design to really be able to do that efficiently. For example, let's go back to the Cuisinart. The Cuisinart is designed with this handle and the lock that you saw there. So if I pick the Cuisinart up, I can carry it around. The legs fold in. The idea is it's portable. However, with the Cuisinart, you have the grease tray back here that basically will drip grease all over everything that you have the second that you pick it up. So kind of a disaster waiting to happen. We saw a similar design with the George Foreman, where because of the ceramic plate, you have about a half-inch lip there, and once grease builds up, if it's not properly level, the grease essentially builds up. Like with the whole chicken, we had grease everywhere because we didn't have an exact level platform, and as you can see, it's pretty shaky. So if that thing is not level, that grease builds up and it just kind of drips right out all over the place. So as far as the design for the Char-Broil and the Weber, they pretty much got it right everywhere. With the Weber, it is about 50 pounds, so it's not exactly light. You go to pick it up, and I mean, it's not insanely heavy, but the handles are very sturdy. They're offset from the grill, so essentially, and while the manufacturer says you shouldn't, you could actually pick this thing up when it's hot, as long as you're careful enough. It's designed well enough so that you're not getting burned. The Char-Broil has got a very solid base, probably the most solid base that I've seen out of any electric grill base. And so that one gets a couple of points just for having some good design. The wheels on the back are designed well enough where you can just pick up the front of that thing and cart it around. So that's pretty good. The idea, again, with the Cuisinart being able to store it, not really ideal with that grease tray there. However, the Techwood had kind of a fail. I mean, I like the idea of how small it was, has that traditional tailgating feel to it, but the problem is the grease has nowhere to go. There's no grease trap. Okay, so that basically means that it's all stuck right in the bottom of that thing. Yuck. So the Weber, this one has the slide out grease tray here, and actually I like the design that they did here where they just give you the throwaway aluminum foil tray. That really works out well because you know, it's much easier to just throw something away than it is to clean it. That's my theory anyway. So lastly, maintaining temperature was an issue for a lot of these grills, especially when it came to the big mass of meat like the bird. We put that in here and instantly it dropped the temperature right away by like 50 degrees after the lid went back on, and normally without that bird in there it would have bounced back. However, it was probably 50 degrees off from what it would normally do without anything in there. So that's a problem. So when it came to throwing a big object in there, all of these, except for the Weber, really suffered from trying to rebound back to a reasonable temperature. We ended up doing all of these, except for the Cuisinart, produced a pretty quality bird. The only problem is it didn't taste like it was grilled, and the skin wasn't quite there. So again, if you're going after these and you're looking for that charcoal feel, you might be a little bit disappointed because all of these lack that grilled flavor. However, the chickens were delicious. None of the chickens that were produced in any of the 4 that actually completed the test were not worthy of, you know, a good dinner that you would serve to the family or friends. Veggies, however, did actually pick up a little bit of the grill flavor. And again, part of maybe why we're not getting such a grilled flavor is because these are all new grills, right? So a lot of times your flavor comes from, you know, stuff that's, you know, fallen on the grill, oils and grease that kind of get heated up, and you know, as they do, they start creating that smoke. And so while you should clean your grill, and it's not a good idea to leave it because, you know, believe me, all that crusty stuff on your grate does not necessarily add flavor. The George Foreman and the Char-Broil both have the bi-dial thermometers, and they're both not worth anything. The George Foreman was off by about 100 degrees. The Char-Broil was off by about 50 to 60 degrees at all times. So if you want to know what your temperature is on these guys, definitely get an ambient thermometer probe and drop it in there. That way you actually know what's going on at all times. When it came to our steak test, the Weber was basically our winner there. And then when it came to even heat, again, that's the Weber. last but not least, when we talk about portability, that's going to go over to the Char-Broil. Again, the Weber's nice, and it's nice to be able to, you know, grill outside and then take it on over to the outdoor patio or whatever. But it is a little bit heavy for, let's say, somebody that's maybe older or doesn't want to attempt to carry around a hot 50-pound unit. And again, you probably shouldn't carry it around when it's hot. As far as which one produced the least amount of smoke, that's going to be your infrared Char-Broil, because that one with the infrared technology and the way the vent's designed for the smoke to escape, or for the heat to escape out the back, and the grease tray is designed perfectly to allow that heat and smoke to escape in a good way. The Weber is also designed well with a concave plate inside that basically quickly drops all your grease right down into the center, so that helps eliminate some of the smoke as well. So overall, our winners are going to be the Char-Broil and the Weber here. The Weber is going to be at a different price point, so the question becomes with the Weber, do you want to spend the extra money? If not, your next notch down is going to be the Char-Broil, which is significantly cheaper. It's about half the price. So I would definitely suggest, if you're not looking to spend, you know, roughly $300 to $320 on the Weber, then Char-Broil is going to be your pick, because that thing comes in at about $160. As far as the George Foreman, there might be an area that you would want maybe this one if you're just somebody that doesn't want to have to worry about cleaning and you just want something that's very simple. The design is very simple, however, it's almost a disaster waiting to happen. So I almost retract that thought, especially because the way the grease tray is back here, it's almost easy to bump this thing out, and it's kind of not the most sturdy. So let's retract that thought, and let's say that the George Foreman is maybe not the best if you don't like cleaning, because it's a disaster waiting to happen. The Techwood, you know, I would almost say for the price, it's almost worth it. But the assembly really kind of like irked me, and at $70, I would say if it was like $55, I guess that's my limit. About $50, then the Techwood would be a great buy. At $70, it's okay, but the fact that you can't really clean it out easily is kind of a deal breaker for me. But I did like the fact that it got hot pretty quick, and it was pretty impressive in that regard. The Cuisinart, don't buy this one. And then if you want to get any more details, links below. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like and help us do more of these amazing videos. Thanks so much.